Having completed chapter 14, Gunatraya Vibhaga Yogam, we next move to chapter 15, which is Purushottama Yogam. Purushottama Yogam, the yoga of the Supreme Person. Now, in this chapter 15, Lord Krishna uses the metaphor of an upside down Ashvatthā tree to describe the material world. Further, Lord Krishna explains how a spiritual seeker can entangle himself from worldly attachments. So, let us move to the first sloka of chapter 15. Shri Bhagavanuvacha Urdhvamulamada Shakam Ashvattham Prahuravyayam Chandamsi Yasya Parnani Yastam Veda Savedavit. Shri Bhagavanuvacha, Lord Krishna speaks, Urdhvamulam Adaha Shakam Ashvattham Avyayam Prahuhu. So, Prahuhu, it is said what? Urdhvamulam, with roots above. Mulam is roots. So, with roots above, Adah Shakam, branches moving downwards, branches growing downwards. Shaka is branch. So, Ashvattham, the Ashvatthā tree, the sacred banyan tree, is said to be Avyayam, is said to be imperishable. Yasya Chandamsi Parnani, the leaves of this banyan tree, of this Ashvatthā tree, is Chandamsi. They are the Vedas. So, the leaves of the Ashvatthā tree are the Vedas. Tam Yaha Veda. So, he who knows this, Saha Vedavit. So, he who knows this is Vedavit, the knower of Vedas. So, in this first sloka of chapter 15, Lord Krishna symbolizes the entire sansara through the Ashvatthā tree. Ashvatthā tree's roots grow upwards and the branches grow downwards. So, the roots upwards, they refer to Brahmadeva. The branches growing downwards refer to the creation of humans, animals, water bodies and other living beings. So, it's next to impossible to uproot a banyan tree, and hence it is referred to as Avyayam, imperishable. The Parnani, the green leaves that flourish, ensure the longevity of the tree. So, these leaves represent the Vedic hymns which provide the rituals of the worldly prosperity. What rituals do you need to do to get this material desire, etc. So, one who understands this mysterious and inverted Ashvatthā tree is said to be a knower of the ultimate truth of the Vedas. So, this Ashvatthā tree metaphor illustrates how the material world is temporary. So, we the devotees should look beyond the branches and find the source, the root. Adhaschordvam prasrutastasya shaka guna pravriddha vishaya pravala adascha mulanyanusantatani karmanubandini manushya-loke. Tasya guna pravriddhaha vishaya pravalaha shakaha adaha urdhvam cha prasrutaha. So, the shakaha, the branches, adaha urdhvam cha prasrutaha. The shakas, the branches, they spread both downwards and upwards. They grow both downwards and upwards. Tasya guna pravriddhaha vishaya pravalaha. So, these branches which are driven by the guna pravriddhaha, because of the three gunas that promote materialism, guna pravriddhaha vishaya pravalaha. So, the three gunas that promote materialism, because of that the branches move downwards and upwards, and they are spread everywhere. Manushya-loke karmanubandhani mulani adaha cha anusantatani. So, Manushya-loke, in this world of humans, the mulani is the roots which bind the atma based on karmanubandhani. So, bandha is bind. So, mula is the roots. So, the roots are like, that which binds the atma. Here, what binds the atma? Karmas. The past karmas done by the person binds the atma. So, based on the karmas which are spread all over, the branches grow both higher as well as lower. So, in this shloka, with the help of the banyan tree, the Ashvatthā tree analogy, Lord explains how the karmas bind the atma of the people in this human world by producing actions and reactions. So Lord explains that branches spread both downwards and upwards, and they are nourished and sustained by the three gunas, the material forces. The twigs of the branches are compared with the objects of senses. So these twigs, these objects of senses constantly attract Atma's attention. The roots, the secondary roots, stretch downwards into the human world, and going deeply into this, the Atma is bound to the present and past karmas. So these binding roots, that is the present and past karmas, drive humans towards endless cycles of desires and activities. So in this way, the jeevatma becomes so deeply entangled in the web of material existence. Na roopamasyeha tatopalabhyate nanto na chadirna cha sampratishta ashvattamenam suviruda moolam asangashastrena dridena chitva tatah padam tatparimargitavyam yasmin gatana nivartanti bhuyah tameva chadyam purusham prapadye yatah pravritti prasruta purani. I just now chanted shloka 3 and shloka 4. In both the shlokas, Lord Krishna, through the banyan tree, Ashvatthā tree analogy, explains how one can cut off the various material forces and overcome the challenges and get liberated. So first shloka 3, asya rupam tata iha na upalabhyate. So asya rupam, asya here refers to the Ashvatthā tree, and rupam, the rupam of the Ashvatthā tree, that is inverted, the inverted rupam of the Ashvatthā tree, na iha na upalabhyate. Iha is in this material world, na upalabhyate. So we do not perceive the inverted rupam of the Ashvatthā tree in this material world. Why? Because adi cha antaha cha na, because it has no beginning nor end. So we are not able to perceive the inverted rupam of the Ashvatthā tree. Sampratishta na, neither does it have stability. Suvirudha moolam yenam ashvattam dridena asanga shastrena chitva. So suvirudha moolam, this yenam ashvattam. So this deep-rooted viruda moolam, this deep-rooted yenam ashvattam, this ashvatha, which means the material forces that it signifies. These material forces, these gunas, dridena asanga shastrena chitva, it must be cut. So after cutting the deep-rooted attachment with dridena asanga shastrena, shastra is a weapon. What kind of shastram? Dridena asanga shastrena, the sharp weapon of asanga, of dispassion. Sanga is attachment, asanga is detachment. So with the sharp weapon of detachment, it must be cut off. Now in continuation, shloka 4. Tataha, thereafter, that is after cutting off the deep-rooted attachment with the dispassionate weapon, sharp weapon. After that, what do you do? Yasmin gataha bhuyaha na nivartante. So yasmin gataha, after going to that place, bhuyaha na nivartanti, where there is no return after going to that place. So you must seek that place. You must seek to go to that place where there is no return after going there. Tat padam parimargitavyam yataha purani pravrittihi prasruta. So tat padam parimargitavyam. So one, after cutting off the deep-rooted attachment with the dispassionate weapon, what do you do next? You must seek, you must approach that gatam, that padam, that shelter, that abode of the Supreme Lord. Tat padam, you must approach, parimargitavyam, you must approach that shelter, that abode, that refuge, that is purani pravrittihi prasruta. So you must approach the abode of the Supreme God, from whom the beginningless creation has originated, that is, it has progressed. Evam adyam purusham prapadye. And after that, what should one do? One should surrender at the feet of the Supreme Lord. So in Shloka 3, Lord Krishna states that the true Rupam of this Ashvatthā tree, it is a massive tree. This Ashvatthā tree cannot be perceived or understood by ordinary human beings living in this material world. So when an ordinary human sees it, what does he see? It appears to him that the tree has no visible beginning, no clear end, and no identifiable foundation. So we know that, by now we know that the tree refers to the insatiable wants, the actions, the karmas and the reactions. So the karma itself, the karmas and the reactions bind the atma. The atma is caught in a web that is so deep rooted that you have the karma bondage, and the only way to escape this grip is to cut this off with the sharp weapon of detachment. So you must cut the material desires, attachments and the material things. By cutting off this bond, we are free and we have the space to move in the path of spirituality. Next, in Shloka 4, Lord Krishna tells us what do you do after cutting off the material desires. So once the tree of material illusion is cut down, thereafter the spiritual seeker must search for that one destination, that one refuge, one abode from where there is no return. He must surrender, take refuge in the feet of that Paramapurusha from whom this creation progresses. So the seeker must give up his ego and humbly surrender. So now the Atma is weaned away from temporary material pleasures, which is the cause of all worldly suffering and bondage. Nirmana moha jita sanga dosha adhyatma nitya vinivritta kama dvandvair vimukta sukha dukkha sanjaihi gacchantya muda padamavyayam tate. Nirmana mohaha, so devoid of moha, false ego and illusion. Moha is illusion, mana is ego. Jita sanga doshaha, free from the dosha of sanga, attachment. Adhyatma nityaha, always abiding in the supreme. Nitya, always. Vinivritta kamaha, kama is lust. So vinivritta kamaha, overcoming cravings and lust. Sukha dukkha sanyaihi, so equipoised in sorrow and happiness. Dvandvair vimuktaha, completely liberated from the dualities or pair of opposites. Amudaha, not deluded. Avyayam tat padam gacchanti. So such a person who has achieved all this, such a wise seeker can padam gacchanti, he attains the supreme immortal state. So in this shloka, Lord Krishna outlines the qualifications required for a spiritual seeker to attain that eternal, immortal and imperishable state. So what are the qualities? Number 1, nirmana mohaha. So he or she must be free from mana, pride, illusion, moha, and he must also be free from, Lord Krishna uses the word jita sanga doshaha. Sangha is association. So one must be free from degraded, corrupt, unspiritual association. So if someone is not a devotee, someone is not a spiritual seeker, then one must avoid that association. Adhyatma nityaha. So nitya, one must always be established in the Lord. So by conquering the urge for selfish enjoyments, one must remain firmly established in the Lord, Lord Krishna. Dvandvair vinmuktaha sukha dukkha sanyaihi. So all dualities of the physical world, such as the shifting experiences of pain and pleasure, the pair of opposites, all these must be faced in the same way. One must be very balanced when experiencing these dualities. Na tad bhasayate suryaha na sashanko na pavakaha yaddad gatva na nivartante taddhama paramam mama. Yat gatva nivartante. So my abode, where after reaching which one does not return, there is no return after reaching my abode. Tat suryaha na bhasayate shashankaha na pavakaha na tat mama paramam dhama. So neither suryaha, sun, na bhasayate. So sun nor shashankaha, the moon, na pavakaha, nor the fire, bhasayate. So these do not illumine that supreme self-effulgent state. There is no return. Yatigatva na nivartante. There is no return after reaching that. And tat mama paramam dhamam. That is my supreme abode. So this shloka beautifully describes the self-luminous nature of the supreme spiritual destination. So all seekers like us, we all desire to reach that state, and that state, it is a self-effulgent state. It is self-radiant, and it does not need the light of the sun or the moon or even the fire to illuminate, as it shines with its own brilliance. So once an atma reaches this exalted state of consciousness, there is no return to the painful material world of birth and death. So this is the abode of the Supreme Lord that we all desire to reach. Mamaivamsho jeevaloke jeevabhutah sanatanaha manah shashtani indriyani prakristani karshati. Jeevaloke sanatanaha jeevabhutah mama amshaha eva. So, sanatanaha jeevabhutaha, the eternal jeevatma in all jeevaloke, in all living beings, mama amshaha eva is a fragment of my own self. Prakristani manah shashtani indriyani karshati. So, karshati is akarshati, that is attract. The jeevatma attracts and draws the mind and five senses which abide in Prakriti. So Prakristani manaha shashtani. So this Jeevatma attracts both the mind and the senses. So in this shloka, Lord states that the Jeevatma and all living beings is nothing but a fragment of the Supreme God. So we all have the divinity in us. We all have the potential for spirituality in us. However, this Jeevatma in us attracts and surrounds itself with the mind and the five senses. So as a result of this, there is a material conditioning that goes on, and the Jeevatma struggles to free itself from this Maya. So the Jeevatma gets attached to the physical body and forgets its divine origin and behaves as a separate entity developing ego. It's time to summarize the first 7 shlokas of chapter 15, Purushottama Yoga, that we covered in this 85th video. So Lord Krishna uses a metaphor of the upside down Ashvatthā tree to describe the material world, explaining that its roots grow upwards into the spiritual realm and the branches stretch downwards to the material realm. So one must break the shackles of the roots that bind us to the world and move upwards, meaning one should not go downwards. So the massive Ashvatthā tree of worldly illusion has no beginning, no end. Lord Krishna advises Arjuna to cut it down with a sharp weapon of detachment and seek his abode, that is Lord Krishna's abode, which is self-luminous and from which there is no return to the cycle of birth and death. Now to reach this abode, one must be free from pride, illusion and dualities like pleasure and pain. Finally, Lord Krishna clarifies that his own amsha, his own part is present in all the jeevatmas, yet the jeevatmas surround themselves with the mind and senses and they struggle to be free from these. Thank you.